Okay, I just wanted to give an explanation of how the greenhouse effect works and how it causes global warming, because it's often confused, and we can break it down into some really simple things so that when we're asked maybe a 4-mark question on it, we're able to get all the marks. Okay, so we're going to start off with the sun, and I hope that from physics you can remember that the sun gives out electromagnetic radiation, and of course that travels through space and reaches the Earth's surface. Okay, round about here we have the edge of our atmosphere, which we've been learning about previously. We've been learning that the atmosphere today contains about roughly 0.04% carbon dioxide. It contains about 21% oxygen, about 79% nitrogen, and then less than 1% of noble gases and things like argon. Okay. Obviously, at any one point in time, there'll be water in the Earth's atmosphere. If you're in a really humid environment, then we've got a lot of water vapour. If you're in a very dry, arid atmosphere like the desert, there will be very little water in the air. Right, so the electromagnetic radiation comes in from the sun, and that is because the sun's such a hot thing, it gives out so much energy. It's actually quite short wave radiation on the whole that comes out, so the wavelengths are quite short. Some of them will get reflected there and come off here, but quite a lot of them get through the Earth's atmosphere and hit the surface of the Earth. Now the Earth then heats up, because it heats up. And when the sun's gone down and the Earth starts to cool down at night, this gets the heat energy that's been absorbed during the day will get re-emitted at a longer wavelength with less energy. It's more in the infrared region of radiation, whereas this is sort of visible light and ultraviolet. This is longer wavelengths of light, which we call infrared. Now, whilst this could get through all the gases in the atmosphere no problem, these longer wavelengths struggle a little bit to get through things like carbon dioxide, also water vapour, because it's a greenhouse gas, and definitely methane gas. These are the 3 greenhouse gases that AQA expect you to be able to remember. Now, the water, I know when we did the fuel cells, we talked about how water was harmless to the atmosphere and wasn't really a pollutant, and it was no problem that a hydrogen fuel cell produced it. And there isn't, because there is always a certain amount of water in the atmosphere, and hopefully you know a little bit about the water cycle and how it's, it always evaporating from the sea, but then it rains and it falls back in. So actually the water, although it is a greenhouse gas, it's not too much of a problem and we don't worry about it. Methane being produced, we do, because it's very big greenhouse effect, and carbon dioxide, although it's a tiny percentage, it's still causing quite a lot of problems, and that tiny percentage is increasing due to the burning of fossil fuels, and it is causing the atmosphere in here to heat up. Now, that's the level of detail you need to know for the GCSE, but just to give you a little bit more info, there's a carbon dioxide molecule. When the infrared radiation tries to go through it, it gets absorbed by the bonds. Okay, it doesn't manage to get through because it actually gets absorbed by these bonds here, and that gives that molecule more energy. So it moves around faster and bangs into other things, and that's what heats up the atmosphere. But just to recap, the really important things for you to know: shorter wave visible light and ultraviolet comes in from the sun. It heats up the Earth's surface. It gets re-emitted as a longer wavelength, infrared, and the infrared radiation is unable to get through the greenhouse gases, and it causes them to have more energy, and it causes the atmosphere to heat up. Okay,